Hello everyone, this is Oluwaseun Amuda from my Training Institute. And today we'll be talking about how to use a map state. That's basically a step function to call a lambda function multiple times. So you want to create a lambda function. So let's take, for example, you want to deploy your lambda function across multiple regions. You want it to scan across multiple regions, or probably let's say you want to scan for AWS services using lambda across multiple regions. It saves you the stress of you creating different lambda for each region, deploying it. And sometimes if your code has some other factors like IMI rows that are global, you might encounter an error, especially when you're using CDK. So, and CDK does not allow multiple region deployments. You have to start deploying one after the other, which causes stress, and your client won't really like it. So that's it. So basically today I'm talking about how you can do that without having to create multiple lambdas to scan across multiple regions or probably do anything that you want. So the first thing you do here is just you create a UIML role for the lambda, you create a lambda function, and let's go into that. Let's create a lambda function now. So we are creating a function and let's call it testing zone or whatever it is. I think I have that name. Okay, so we'll call it testing. And the runtime is Python 3.9. So you can use an existing IMI role or you can create. So we have this, then you create your function. Okay, so we have our lambda already. Now this is a default lambda function. So let me paste. Okay, so this is what I have right now. I have region and it's picking from the events. Now if you check my event now, it's just default stuff that is there. So because it is the step function that will be giving event value, it's not going to use this event. It's step function that is giving an event value. Definitely we don't need to configure anything right in here. So let's go back to our code. Okay, so what I'm just telling this lambda right here is print out the region and get the region from the event and print it out. So that's what this lambda is going to do for us. So let's deploy it. Now, if I test it here, it's not going to work. Let's take a look at it. Okay. The test. So it says error message. As you can see, region is not defined. So that's it. As you can see. Now let's go to our step function. So I come right in here, you create a step function, a state machine. So let's create a state machine. You can either design your workflow virtually or whatever it is. But then we have a template right here, so just copy and paste the template. So now if you check this function, it's asking you to create your lambda. You have created our lambda, you have tested lambda function. So it won't work. Now you create a state machine and you start your execution. So how do you do that? So the coding here is in Java, so forget about that one. So we need this. That's the code. As you can see in the state machine pane, add the following state machine definition and stuff like that. The lambda that we earlier created. So come here, we paste. Now we're gonna copy the ARN of the lambda that we created. That's the testing ARN. So copy this, we come here. Then from here to here. Okay. As you can see, machine name call lambda. Then click on next. So we have to create a new row. If you are using an existing row, it won't work. Take note of that, it's not going to work. because this lambda and the other lambda are not the same thing. The role is it follows the rules of least privilege. So this only this lambda and this lambda have access to it. So you are creating a new rule for that. Take note of that. Then you can either enable S-ray tracing just for a quick identification in case you are dealing with multiple aspects of it. So let's create our state machine. So the state machine is ready. And the next thing now is to start our execution. So how do we start? Now, inside here, the comment section. So this is more or less like our payload. This was we are inputting into our Lambda function right now. So we are telling region, which region should it go to? US is 1. As you can see. Then open again. Region. US is 2. So what I want to do now is we are creating this Lambda function across 3 different regions. So depending on the number of regions, they ask you to like iterate or scan the Lambda over, then that's the number of regions you type into. So in a situation of CDK, you can just use the JSON file because it's a JSON format. You can just input it in the into your S3 bucket, then sorry for that. Then it picks it up from there. So in your cloud formation, you just specify the parameters, then it picks it up from that place. So that's it. Okay. So let's test it out. So okay, yeah. Since these are a list, you have to use you have to open a bracket for it. Okay, so you start your execution. Okay, it says succeeded. As you can see, this is it. That's how it does it. So it has actually this lambda 3 times into 3 different regions. So if you check out, let's check it out now. Input and output. So let's take a look at the advanced view. So this USS 1, as you can see, is our input. That's the payload. This is the region. As you can see, I told you it's going to input it first. So I create it. It input this first, the first region, then I put anything, then again. If we check the second region now, we're having it here, USS 2 as a payload. Now, if you check the third region, we're having US West 1. So it actually I created this lambda 3 times, deployed 3 different times. So that's how you just go about it. Now, if you have multiple lambdas, you just add it here, call scan lambdas, call everything. So I create everything like that, then into 3 different regions. So if any of it fails, it stops it automatically. It stops at that point. If it fails, it stops at that point. Now I'm having a config file right in here. So let's copy this. So what this config is going to do is going to scan across multiple regions. So this is the practical use of it. I want to scan my config across those 3 regions. Are they enabled? If they are enabled, then I can actually turn it off or create a setup that we actually trip it off in case it's enabled. Okay, so if you trigger the function here, it won't run because region is a parameter. It's our step function that is actually inputting value into this place. So you start a new execution. Then you click on start execution. Then it's still loading, as you can see, it's still in progress. Succeeded, as you can see. So it actually treated it across the 3 functions. So if you take a look at this right now. So that's USS 1. Now this is our payload. Then let's take a look at our output. Let's take a look at the details. Okay, okay, yeah. So this is expander, let me expander here. So the task inputs, that's the output. So for this, then for the other region, This is it. For the third region, you have it here, US one. So if you go to the cloud tree, so let's go to the CloudWatch, sorry. So the name of the Lambda function is testing. Let's take a look at it. Testing. Okay. So this is it. You can see. Check the time right now. This 9:40 and this 9:38. You can see the response. Response metadata, as you can see. To show that it actually deployed across the 3 different regions. You can see this for take a look at careful look at it. Okay, this is the region error we talked about the other time, the one we deployed earlier. So this is for the US East 1. US East 1, US East 2. The first one we deployed US West 1. It put them actually into the same log file. So that's how you go about it. And that's just the usage of it. You scan your service across multiple regions with just step function. That's the function of mapping. That's what it does. Or even it's not necessarily to be scanning services in a situation whereby you need to iterate some items. You want to scan for some items, then you can use mapping for it. So that's it. So if you were to write it in a CDK format, let me show you an example. So if you're writing in a CDK format, this is how you are going to write it. So as you can see, map, you iterate it, scan for the first lambda, scan for other services, duty, then you scan for everything like that. So once it deploys this thing, it's going to iterate the services one by one in state machine and stuff like that. So that's how you go about it. Thank you very much for watching, and remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more of it.